In this video, we're going to dive deep into creating a Metallica t-shirt design from scratch. First, we'll jump into Adobe Illustrator to recreate the iconic Metallica logo. Wait until you see the fire and skulls we're adding to give this design the ultimate heavy metal vibe. Big thanks to Dead Soul Gamer for the suggestion. If you're new around these parts, my name is Ashley, and I'm here to teach you all about designing killer streetwear apparel. Make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a single video. So first, what you want to do is create a new document. My document is 15 by 20, 300 DPI, and RGB color mode. Fill the background with 16171A. Now pop over to Illustrator and we are going to create a new document that is 12 by 8, RGB color mode, and 300 DPI. Grab your type tool and type out Metallica. I will be using the font Agenda. And my font size will be 111. Now let's warp our text. Go to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Warp. Change the style to arc, and vertical will be 4% and bend will be 0%. Now go up to Object, Expand, and click OK. So now grab your direct selection tool, and over here on the letter T, I will select these two endpoints and alter them so that it's more slanted. For this next part, I will be getting rid of the M, and later on you'll see I'll get rid of the letter A, and I'm going to use my pen tool to recreate the M and the A. So all you're doing is clicking for one point, then make your next point and just continue this same process. I will end up speeding this up and doing a quick time lapse. So of course this is not going to look exactly like the Metallica logo, but I just wanted to get it as close as possible. Now select the entire logo and we are going to copy and paste so that we have 2 copies. So for this one, we will change the color to 808 to 85. And in your Pathfinder panel, make sure you combine these shapes before you do the 3D and materials. Click on Extrude and change the depth to 12.25. Under presets, change it to front, and perspective should be 160. So now we will edit copy and edit paste this over into our Photoshop document. Make sure you paste it as a smart object, and I will resize this to about 135. Double click this layer to rename it because we want to make sure we're keeping everything organized, and copy this top layer and paste it over into our document. I will rename this layer Metallica Flat and take your 3D layer and place it within its own folder. So on this folder, double click it and we will add some layer styles, starting off with bevel and emboss. Change the style to inner bevel. The depth will be 100. The size will be 27. Altitude will be 32. Highlight mode, we will change it to linear dodge, add, and the color will be D8321A. Change the opacity to 100%. And for shadow mode, decrease the opacity to 0%. Now click on inner shadow. Change the blend mode to color burn. And the color will be 31220C. Change the opacity to 74%. Make sure use global light is unchecked and the angle will be -96. Distance is 83. Choke is 5. And size is 144. Click on contour and select the 4th one in the first row. Now we are going to add another inner shadow, and on this second one, change the blend mode to overlay, and the color will be FADD19. The opacity will be 74. Distance will be 28. Choke will be 5 and size will be 101. And for contour, change it back to the first one in the first row. Next, click on Inner Glow. Change the blend mode to color burn Opacity will be 100%. And the color will be F79432. Size will be 185. And contour will be the fourth one in the first row. And change the range to 100%. Click on satin. Change the blend mode to color burn. The color will be C50000. Distance will be 167. And size will be 167. Click on Gradient Overlay. Change the blend mode to Overlay. Change the gradient, and for our first color stop, we will do 5355554. Add another color stop, and this one will be 7C828E. Add the next color, and this one will be E9E8E8. Add another color, and this one will be 7C828E. And for our last color, we will leave this white. Click OK, and for style, change it to reflected. And our scale will be 61%. Change the method to classic. Now select both the Metallica 3D and the flat layer and move it towards the top of your document. Now for our flat layer, we will add some layer styles. Double click this layer and we will start off with a bevel and emboss. Change the technique to chisel hard, and the depth will be 1000. The size will be 65. Highlight mode will be linear light. And the color will be FAE4BD. Shadow mode will be color burn. And the color will be CB4F0C. Change the opacity to 100%. Click on Contour and change it to the second to last one in the second row. Click on Stroke, change the size to 3. Position will be inside. Blend mode will be color dodge. And the color will be FCD8A0. Select Color Overlay. Change this color to 474649. Click on Drop Shadow. Change the blend mode to color dodge, and the color will be FBC91C. The opacity will be 100%. Distance will be 10. Size will be 29. Click OK. Now place both of these layers within a group just to keep everything organized. Open up your skull image and rename this layer. Right click, convert to Smart Object, and go to Select Subject. Create a mask. Drag this image over into your document. Duplicate this layer and place it within its own group. I will name this group Inverted Skull. Place this layer within the group. Use the Invert Adjustment layer and right-click, Create Clipping Mask. Duplicate the skull layer again and place this one above the Inverted Skull group. Rasterize this layer and go to Image, Apply Image. Make sure the channel is green, invert is checked, and blending is different. Right click, create clipping mask, and change this layer to subtract. Duplicate this layer and change this layer to divide. Now place the inverted skull and the top two skull layers within its own group and rename it. Change this folder to Penlight. Open up your second skull file and rename it. Select Subject. Right click, convert to Smart Object, and create a mask. Drag it over into your document. Resize your layer by pressing Command T on your keyboard. Duplicate this layer and go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and move it to the other side. Place both of these skull layers within its own folder. And now duplicate these skull layers. Add a invert adjustment layer and create clipping mask. Select both of these layers and place them within its own group again. Change this layer to Penlight. Take this original layer and duplicate it and convert it to a Smart Object and rasterize it. Place it above the inverted two skulls folder and Image, Apply Image. Change the channel to red and click OK. Now right click, create clipping mask, and change this layer to difference. Duplicate it again and change it to linear burn. Now open up your Rose file. Right click, convert to Smart Object, and select Subject. Resize. Duplicate this layer and edit Transform Flip Horizontal and move it over to the other side. Place both of these rose layers within its own folder. And now we're going to add a color balance adjustment layer. Right click, create clipping mask. For midtones, we will change the first number to -100, then 100, and then -100. For shadows, for the first one, change it to -100, and then for the last one, change it to -100. And then for highlights, we are going to do the same thing. First one is -100, 0, -100. Now place all of your skulls and roses within its own group and name it Skulls and Roses. Add a solid color layer on top and change it to BFA 885. Right click, create clipping mask, and change this to color. Open the fireball image. Right click, convert to Smart Object, and bring it into your document. Now we will resize it because I want this to cover up a good portion of the skulls and a little bit of the roses. Right click, create clipping mask, and change this layer to overlay. Create a new layer above the fireball layer and rename it Fire Eyes. Use the color D41602 and use a soft paintbrush and fill in the eyeball sockets on the skeleton. Make sure your opacity and your flow is at 100% and change this layer to color dodge. Open the flame layer. Bring it over into your document and rotate it so that it's horizontal and place it just above the skull. Move this layer in between the Metallica logo and the skulls. Duplicate this layer and rotate it back so that it's vertical. and move this so that it's a bit higher. Duplicate it once more and move it towards the bottom and rotate it. Open the sword. Select subject, convert to smart object, and bring it over into your document. Rotate it so that it's vertical. Add a levels adjustment layer on top and right click, create clipping mask, and change the first number to 108, the second one to 0.39, and the last number to 222. Open up the second fireball image. And drag it over into your document and place this behind the sword. Create a new layer and name it shadow. And right click, create clipping mask on the sword. And use the color 764124 and add a shadow. Change this layer to linear burn. Now place the entire design within its own group except for the background and rename it. Open up the red marble texture, and this is going to give a nice red hue to our design. Rename this layer and right click, create clipping mask, and change this layer to exclusion. And decrease the opacity to 40%. I hope you all enjoyed learning how to design a Metallica t-shirt using Illustrator and Photoshop. If you loved what you saw, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you never miss another video like this one. Thanks for watching.